What the hell is that? Everyone's got a gimmick now.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most interesting MCU fan theories that ended up actually happening. Since we're putting on our tinfoil hats for this MCU deep dive, we'll also be getting into spoilers, so consider this your warning.
Loki, look who it is!
Number 20, Teen's Identity, Agatha All Along. Ever since we found out about the Agatha spinoff show, many fans speculated on who Joe Locke's character would be. Marvel themselves kept that identity a mystery for a little bit too, by only having him be referred to as Teen in early episodes.
Road is no place for a kid.
I'm 16.
Oh, sorry. Teen.
But most people theorized that Teen was actually someone we've seen before. More specifically, that he was actually an older Billy Maximoff, one of the Scarlet Witch's sons, also known as Wiccan. To the delight of the viewers, this was exactly the case.
You're so much like your mother.
Billy possessed the body of William Kaplan, and from there, the hijinks began. The inclusion of Wiccan wasn't just an exciting revelation, but also another potential obstacle for Agatha. But hey, life's a witch, ain't it? Number 19, something's rotten about the TVA, Loki. What? You mean to tell me that the organization that systematically wipes out anybody who poses a threat to the so-called purity of the timeline isn't entirely benevolent?
Now the timekeepers protect and preserve the proper flow of time for everyone and everything. But sometimes people like you veer off the path the timekeepers created.
Shocking. Pretty early on, viewers suspected that something was seriously wrong with the TVA, and many further theorized that a Kang was the one calling the shots. This would be confirmed later when Loki and Sylvie discovered that the Timekeepers were all just a sham created by He Who Remains. The major plot point also revealed that this variant of Kang was purposely puppeteering the destruction of countless realities in order to ensure the survival of his own sacred timeline.
Once I isolated our timeline, all I have to do is manage the flow of time and prevent any further branches. Hence, the TVA. Hence, the timekeepers in a highly efficient bureaucracy. Hence, ages and ages of cosmic harmony.
Yeah, that seems just a tad manipulative. Number 18, Wanda is the villain, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. As we approached the second Doctor Strange movie back in 2022, there was a good amount of discourse surrounding the Scarlet Witch's role in the film.
The Darkhold.
You're familiar with the Darkhold?
I know it's the Book of the Damned, and that it corrupts everything and everyone that it touches. I wonder what it's done to you.
The Darkhold only showed me the truth.
WandaVision floated the idea of Wanda being more sinister than we thought. With that in mind, it seemed completely possible that her heel turn would be cemented in Multiverse of Madness. Sure enough, she ended up being the main villain.
In spite of your hypocrisies and insults, I have begged you to safely get out of my way. You have exhausted my patience.
Wanda murdered her way across worlds in a desperate attempt to bring her kids back to life. Predicting that she'd break bad wasn't inherently far-fetched, but seeing it get proven was still pretty validating, especially for those who predicted it way back in 2019. Quite the magical foresight. Number 17, Sam is the new Captain America, Avengers Endgame, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Legacies can be a tricky thing. When we learned that Chris Evans would be concluding his time as Captain America, everyone wondered who would be taking up the shield next.
Thank you. I'll do my best.
Two prominent theories were that either Bucky Barnes or Sam Wilson will become the new Captain America. Though they've both been Cap in the comics, Sam seemed more likely. For perspective, Bucky was only Cap for maybe a year while Sam is still Cap in the comics. Endgame sowed the seeds for Sam stepping up when an elderly Steve Rogers gifted him the shield. Though he was reluctant to accept it, he'd finally become Captain America at the end of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
You of all people bought into that bullshit.
I'm trying something different. Maybe you should do the same.
That's one serious promotion. Number 16, Enter the Ronin, Avengers Endgame. Thanos' decimation of half of all life had serious ramifications for all of the MCU, and that included Hawkeye.
Good job, Hawkeye.
When the Avenger was notably absent during Infinity War, fans assumed he'd come back in a big way for Endgame. A popular theory was that he would ditch his Hawkeye costume for one of his other aliases, the Ronin. Another part of the theory suggested that it'd be because of his family getting wiped out during the blip. This came true in Endgame, and we were treated to a more vicious Clint Barton than before.
Don't.
Don't what?
Don't give me hope.
I'm sorry I couldn't give it to you sooner.
It's just a shame we never saw the true extent of Ronin's brutality, apart from a few scenes in Endgame and the Hawkeye show. Oh well. Number 15. The Doctor is on the way. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. As Captain America and Black Widow interrogate Jasper Sitwell in order to find out more about a mass surveillance program called Project Insight, some seriously startling revelations are made.
Zola's algorithm is a program for choosing Insight's target.
The secret Hydra informant lets it slip that the project is a way to keep tabs on any individuals that might pose a threat to the evil organization. Among the many people of interest are Steve Rogers himself, Bruce Banner, and Stephen Strange.
You, a TV anchor in Cairo, the Undersecretary of Defense, a high school valedictorian in Iowa City, Bruce Banner, Stephen Strange, anyone who's a threat to Hydra, now or in the future.
That last name drop in particular got everyone excited. Fans naturally theorized that Doctor Strange would soon enter the fold. The MCU having Doctor Strange sounds like a no-brainer, but since his movie and casting hadn't been announced yet, the possibilities for where he could show up were endless. Number 14, Loki's Tesseract trick, Thor Ragnarok, and Avengers Infinity War. Eagle-eyed viewers always knew that Loki is called the trickster god for good reason.
Your savior is here!
When he noticed the Tesseract being back in Asgard during Ragnarok, he took it for himself. From there, viewers assumed that Loki would try to use it in a big way, and he did in Infinity War. The villain turned anti-hero used the cube to try and distract Thanos long enough for the Hulk to attack. It didn't really do much to stop the Mad Titan, sadly. In fact, Loki actually died after this, but his actions did confirm that even in his last moments, he always had a trick up his sleeve.
Undying.
You should choose your words more carefully.
Number 13. The Netflix shows actually are canon. Various. For the longest time, we didn't know if Marvel's slew of Netflix shows were canon to the MCU or not. Sure, Kingpin showed up in the Hawkeye show, and Daredevil was a lawyer in Spider-Man No Way Home.
You're gonna need a really good lawyer. Peter, you may have dodged your legal troubles, but things will get much worse. There is still a court of public opinion.
But even when actors from the Netflix shows reprised their roles in official MCU projects, that wasn't enough. Because maybe they weren't actually the same versions. Maybe they were just canonically adjacent variants. See how confusing this gets? It got us breaking out the big vocabulary words. Still, many believe the shows were connected, and eventually those fans were proven right. Marvel's head of streaming, Brad Winderbaum, ended the debate in 2024 and confirmed they were canon.
I personally, Brad Winderbaum, would be confident in saying it is part of the Sacred Time.
Great! So how long until Daredevil's in the next Avengers movie? Number 12, Iron Man's death, Avengers Endgame. Unfortunately, someone was bound to die in this movie. One Avenger that many thought would bite the bullet happened to be Iron Man.
What's wrong?
Nothing. I'm just going into cardiac arrest because you
What?
yanked
I thought you
out
said this was
a
safe.
trout lure. We gotta hurry. Take this.
Okay.
We gotta switch it out really quick.
Okay. Tony.
What?
It's gonna be okay.
Even one of Iron Man's own comic book writers, Bob Layton, believed it would happen. In a way, it made total sense. Someone needed to complete the ultimate sacrifice to stop Thanos. So who better than the Avenger that started off the entire MCU? Plus, Robert Downey Jr.'s contractual status with Marvel Studios at that time suggested he was winding down. Suddenly, Endgame seemed like the perfect place to have Tony Stark's swan song. While Tony did die in Endgame, proving this theory right was a bittersweet victory in the end.
Iron Man.
Sure, the fan theorists won, but at what cost? Number 11, The Spider-Man Return, Spider-Man No Way Home. The third MCU Spider-Man film had to have been one of the most eagerly anticipated MCU projects ever.
Badass.
Seriously, you just had to be there. One of the biggest reasons for the hype was because of the theory that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire would return as Spider-Man. This also led to other theories that came true, like Andrew's Spidey being the one to save MJ.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm okay.
The idea of Toby and Andrew coming back was the talk of the town for months, so getting to actually see our wildest dreams be proven true was a moment like nothing else. We got to see 3 different Spider-Men saving the day. What's cooler than that? This was a multiverse movie done right. Number 10, Red Skull Survival, Captain America: The First Avenger. At the end of the first Avenger, it seemed like Johann Schmidt got what was coming to him when the Tesseract disintegrated him. However, fans weren't convinced they'd seen the last of the Red Skull. When the Tesseract, aka the Space Stone, was shown to be able to teleport people and open portals, that was all the evidence they needed. Fans knew he'd pop up again somewhere, only having been teleported. But no one could have guessed he's been transported to the planet Vormir to become the guardian of another Infinity Stone. Even though Hugo Weaving didn't return for the role, it was a nice surprise to see the villain appear in Infinity War.
We are all wrong.
Number 9, Jake Lockley is here. Moon Knight. The MCU has made several changes when it comes to character history. In Moon Knight, we saw Stephen Grant discover he was an alternate personality to superhero Mark Spector. While casual viewers enjoyed watching the dynamic between 2 Oscar Isaacs, comic readers knew the character was 1 personality short.
Oh God. Steven, what did you do?
I swear it wasn't me.
Then who was it?
When the show began airing, it seemed like Marvel was only going to include the 2, until hints towards the 3rd started rolling in. It became a game to theorize which moments Jake could have had control over. Episode 4's Asylum twist offered the biggest clue. A second sarcophagus made it all but clear there was a 3rd personality. Jake Lockley's existence was finally confirmed in the finale's mid-credits scene.
Hoy te toca perder.
Wait. Number 8, Hulk and the Hulkbuster, Avengers Infinity War. Iron Man's Hulkbuster armor made its glorious debut in Age of Ultron, where Tony used it to subdue a mind-altered Hulk. Among the many hype-inducing shots from Infinity War's first trailer, fans were delighted to see the armor make a return. Then began the theorizing. It didn't seem likely Tony would need it for the Hulk again, considering Bruce's arc in Thor Ragnarok. While several characters were guessed to be the operator, most evidence pointed towards Hulk himself. This included an earlier shot in the trailer showing Bruce next to one of the suit's arms. When Infinity War released, the theory was proven true.
Oh, this is amazing, man! It's like being the Hulk, not actually.
Although he only needed it because his alter ego refused to come out.
You guys are so screwed now!
Number 7, King Thor, Thor Ragnarok. When Thor debuted in the MCU, he craved the chance to one day be King of Asgard. But some hard-learned lessons made him realize he didn't want it.
Father, I cannot be king of Asgard. I will protect Asgard and all the realms with my last and every breath, but I cannot do so from that chair.
As Ragnarok approached, some fans theorized that he'd be forced onto the throne with the passing of his father, Odin. Ragnarok is an important event in Norse myth, detailing the destruction of Asgard and the death of Odin, among many other deities. Plus, with the goddess of death Hela as the villain, it seemed like a safe bet. In the movie, Odin does die, albeit peacefully, leaving Thor to be crowned as king by the end.
So, King of Asgard.
However, he'd soon give up the crown to Valkyrie, who'd rule over New Asgard.
Do people need a king?
No, they already have one.
That's funny.
Number 6, Peter Parker's first appearance, Iron Man 2. One of the most widespread MCU fan theories stated that Peter Parker had been in the MCU far longer than we were told.
Hey, buddy. This is Larry.
Hey, the Oracle of Oracle. What a pleasure. Nice to see you.
During the climax of Iron Man 2, Tony swoops down to save a kid from a hammer drone.
Nice work, kid.
Though he's wearing a mask, the theory that this boy is actually Peter Parker got a lot of love from the fans. It made sense too. The Stark Expo was held in Queens, Peter's hometown, and the boy's age matched how old Peter would have been around that time.
Is it for me? Happy, wait. This is insane. Look at this thing. Look at the eyes. This is the greatest day of my life.
While promoting Spider-Man Homecoming, Tom Holland confirmed that the theory was indeed true, even citing producer Kevin Feige. It was nice to have an earlier connection between the two heroes, even a small one.
You know what, we should make an alibi video for your aunt anyway. You ready? Rolling? Yeah, get the frame. Hey, May. How you doing? What are you wearing? Something skimpy, I hope.
Number 5, Planet Hulk, Avengers Age of Ultron, and Thor Ragnarok. At the end of Age of Ultron, Hulk flew off in a Quinjet, leaving his teammates behind.
So help me out. I need
His exit caused many to speculate where we might see him next. Despite actively not showing him leave Earth's atmosphere, many fans hope for a Planet Hulk adaptation. With Universal still owning the distribution rights to solo Hulk films, some guessed we'd see him in Thor Ragnarok after he was confirmed to not appear in Civil War. Though Marvel couldn't do the exact storyline, elements from the popular comic run did appear in Ragnarok. These include the planet Sakaar and Hulk as a gladiator, though most of his storyline was completely different.
What's this? Banner. Hey. You alright? Banner? Shh. Sun's going down. That's it, breathe.
Number 4, Spider-Man's debut, Captain America: Civil War. When The Amazing Spider-Man 2 failed to meet Sony's expectations, the studio struck a deal with Marvel to bring the hero into the MCU.
Hey, I'm Peter.
Tony.
What are you doing here?
It's about time we met.
Being one of Marvel's most cherished characters, fans immediately began theorizing about which movie he'd make his debut in. The popular consensus was Captain America: Civil War.
Under ruse!
However, some even theorized about this before Sony and Marvel's deal simply based on how big of a role he played in the original comic. Although Civil War released less than a year after Tom Holland's official casting, that's exactly where he debuted.
Captain? Big fan of Spider-Man?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Just,
Hey, everyone.
good job.
It's unfortunate that another film's poor reception helped this happen, but we were ecstatic to see him.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude.
Number 3, Stan and the Watchers, Various. The legendary Stan Lee began making cameos in Marvel movies long before the MCU, but fans were happy to see him keep with the tradition.
Blondie, stop trying to scare us. Come on.
All right.
Excelsior.
His constant appearances birthed the popular theory that he wasn't just making cameos, but playing the same character across all movies.
Are you Tony Stank?
Yes, this is Tony Stank. You're in the right place. Thank you for that.
More notably, fans believed him to be Uatu, member of a race called Watchers that witnessed but didn't interfere with events across the multiverse. This theory ended up coming true, sort of.
Oh, man. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, at that time, I was a Federal Express man.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 showed that while he wasn't Uatu, he was the same character, and he did inform the Watchers about events within the MCU.
Hey, wait, where are you going? Hey, you were supposed to be my lift home. How will I get out of here? Hey, gee, I've got so many more stories to tell. Guys, gee.
The actual Uatu wouldn't appear until the Disney Plus series What If.
Please, fix this.
The same way you fixed Christine.
I was wrong.
You were warned. Number 2, Cap picking up the hammer. Avengers Age of Ultron and Avengers Endgame. While Mjolnir will always be connected to Thor, there are a handful of other characters that have wielded the mighty weapon in the comics. Some fans may have wondered if we'd ever see such an occurrence in the MCU, and they got their first tease in Age of Ultron.
Come on, Cap.
Nothing.
While celebrating a victory, the Avengers tested if any of them could pick it up. Cap producing a small budge led many to believe he'd one day wield it. Though Vision ended up lifting it later, that tease made it clear to many that it was only a matter of time before Steve showed his worthiness. In one of the franchise's most cheer-worthy moments, Cap made all our wishes come true in Endgame.
No, give me that. You have the little one.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, the Quantum Realm, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Avengers Endgame. First introduced in Ant-Man, the Quantum Realm played a much bigger role than many may have initially guessed.
Everything that you know and love.
When Scott Lang entered the extremely small universe, many fans correctly guessed this would lead to the eventual rescue of Janet Van Dyne. That came to be in its sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp. But the theorizing about the importance of the Quantum Realm didn't stop there. Following her rescue, Janet made mention of the Quantum Realm's time capabilities.
Also, make sure you stay out of the tardigrade fields. They're cute, but they'll eat you. And don't get sucked into a time vortex. We won't be able to save you.
So when Thanos snapped out half of existence, fans then guessed that the Quantum Realm would be used for time travel to undo his actions. When Endgame released, those fans were proven right.
I was in a place called the Quantum Realm. And the Quantum Realm is like its own microscopic universe. To get in there, you have to be incredibly small.
Is there another MCU fan theory that turned out to be true that we forgot? Break it down in the comments down below.
How about you? You're a prince. Must have been would-be princesses? Or perhaps another prince?
A bit of both.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.